Hello everyone, my name is Katie.
And my name is Catherine.
And we're dietetic interns from Viterbo, and today we're going to talk to you about why breakfast is neat. So everybody knows that breakfast is important for you, and it's often regarded as the most important meal of the day. A lot of research has shown that there's a lot of great things about breakfast. And here are some of the benefits that we have found and research has found to be good, why breakfast is good for you. The first one is that it gives us better energy and focus. Obviously, this is really important for us when we're at work or just busy doing other things. Eating breakfast allows us to really get all the energy that we need right for the morning hours of our day and helps us to keep going for a little bit longer throughout our day. The second thing is that it helps with weight control, and this is because it reduces cravings. So it's tied into this like reducing cravings portion, but this actually kind of makes a little bit of sense when you think about the science behind it, and that's because when you don't eat breakfast in the morning, your blood sugar, which is something that's in your blood to kind of keep everything working nicely for us, wants to stay in this like nice little range to keep us nice and healthy. When you skip out on breakfast, that tends to dip a little bit, and before you know it, you end up below that happy medium that we like to be at. So then your body gets so then that sends signals to your brain saying, hey, I need sugar, I need something to get me going. So now you're going to be more likely to grab something like a donut or a muffin or a candy bar to kind of sustain your body and to give you that quick sugar that it needs to get you back up and going. And with that, you get this big, huge spike, which isn't great for us either, and then a few minutes later, you're going to crash again. So it just kind of starts this pattern of not so great, up and down, which can do a lot of damage on our bodies. Next, it helps us have better performance at the workplace, or just at home in general, or even with kids, it helps them to do better on tests and just in school in general. So knowing this, you can trick your kids and tell them that it'll help them do better in school by getting breakfast in. And it'll also help you out too, because you'll be able to better focus on your work. The next thing is that people that do eat breakfast have a tendency to have lower BMIs, so their body shape is a little bit more well accepted and normal. And then they're also better at getting in fruits and vegetables during their day. They're also a little bit better about getting calcium in through their day, and they also can tend to consume less fat, which is also really important in keeping a well-rounded diet.
Okay, so to include in our breakfast, we want 4 major components. Obviously, every day it's not going to be possible to do all 4, but as many as possible is going to be what we're shooting for. The first thing we want to include is protein. So this is going to help keep us full, help our body do everything it needs to do, build our muscles, build our bones. And this could be eggs, this could be milk, this could be yogurt, this could be cheese in our whatever we're having. So there's really a lot of options. It could be meat, it could be whatever we want. So that's going to be the most important part of our breakfast, and it'll keep us full throughout the day. The second thing we want to include in our breakfast is healthy fats. So this is anything like avocado or olive oil, basically anything that's an unsaturated fat that's going to help keep us full throughout the day also. And then the third thing we want is fiber, which is also going to help keep us full throughout the day. This could be like a whole grain cereal or whole grain bread, or anything in our fruits and vegetables. And then that leads me to the fourth one, which is we want to include fruits and vegetables, which you can get by adding you can add fruit into your yogurt, you can add fruit and or vegetables into your smoothie, and there's a lot of different ways to do this, which we'll go into soon.
So there's 3 common barriers when it comes to eating breakfast, and I'm sure you've come across some of these in your own home. The first one is time. I know for a lot of us, getting up in the morning can be kind of hard, and especially when there's a whole bunch of things you need to get done in the morning, like get ready for your day, if you have kids, getting them ready for school, if you have pets, taking care of them in the morning. There's a lot of parts and pieces that are going into your morning before you even leave to work that can make you seem a little stressed. So obviously time can be a big barrier for a lot of people when they want to eat breakfast or decide not to eat breakfast. But there's some tips and tricks that we're going to talk about to help you overcome that barrier if it's bad or one that you identify with. The second one is that some people don't like breakfast foods, or they're just picky eaters. But it's good to know, and just to let all of you know, that you don't have to eat a breakfast food in order for it to count as breakfast. Technically, breakfast is just breaking the fast that you're having overnight. So it could be a sandwich if you're the sandwich type of person. It could be your leftovers that you had from dinner last night. It could really be anything that you want. So just keep that in mind, that breakfast doesn't have to be an omelet or yogurt or a smoothie or anything like that. The third one is that people sometimes wake up in the morning and they're just not hungry. This is actually pretty common, and while it is a valid excuse and barrier, there's a lot of ways you can get away from that whole "I'm not hungry in the morning" mentality. Obviously, you could take things on the go with you, or Catherine has some other ideas as to how you could help you get over this barrier if you aren't hungry in the morning.
Okay, so here we have some tips and tricks into getting a good breakfast in. So like Katie was saying, time is a huge barrier for a lot of people for making breakfast. So one way to help with the limited time you have is get organized the night before. So if you know what you're going to make for breakfast the next day, maybe set out some of the equipment you need, maybe get some of the ingredients right the night before. Really, the less you have to do in the morning, the better. When you're in a rush, you're tired, everything is going on. So just to be prepared for the morning is a good way to combat the limited time we have in the morning. The second is to really remember your protein and carbohydrates. Those are the two most important part of our breakfast. If we get any of those other things in, that's great, but we really want to focus on those protein and carbohydrates, because those are the base of our breakfast and are going to help fuel our entire day. The third is just simply to set your alarm 10 minutes earlier. If you find you're not having enough time, 10 minutes is really all you need to whip together a healthy, filling breakfast. And if you don't have time to eat it, you can take it to go. Eat it in the car, eat it at work, whatever works best for you. And then another tip is just to keep breakfast simple. Breakfast doesn't have to be a huge, elaborate meal. It can really be, if you're not that hungry, maybe just a yogurt and granola, or a banana or something you just grab out of the door. So just to be open to everything. And then the last one is, so one of the barriers was that people sometimes aren't full or aren't hungry for breakfast. So if you eat a lot before bed, it would make sense that we're not hungry in the morning. So that's a common problem, maybe try to not snack after dinner, snack less before bed, or eat a smaller dinner if you're finding trouble eating in the morning. So just to play around with your own body, because everyone's different and it'll affect everyone differently.
So here's even more tips and tricks. So incorporating more fruits and vegetables into breakfast, start your day out with some of them. Whether it be mixing in vegetables into an omelet, or adding spinach into a smoothie, or things like that, adding fruit to yogurt, adding fruit to cereal, adding fruit to obviously a smoothie. I think I might have said that. All right, I'm not really sure, but anyway, you can get fruit and vegetables into your diet. You're already setting your body up for success. Especially since fruit and vegetables are kind of things that are really hard for most Americans to get into their diet. By starting off your day with at least one of these items, you're already ahead of the game for most people, which is awesome, and you can get a lot of nutrients out of those fruits and vegetables that are really important for things like focus and stress. The second thing to do is you can pack your breakfast to go. So as Catherine said, and I've said, time can be a big problem. So maybe you don't have time to sit down and eat your breakfast, but if you make oatmeal and put it in a Tupperware container, or if you put a bagel with cream cheese and you take it to go with you, you can eat that on your way to work or once you get to your office. And it's easy as that, and you're still getting in your breakfast in the day, and you're already doing better than you would have had you not have packed your breakfast. The third one is to think outside of the box. So this kind of means that if you're not a typical breakfast food eater, that you reach for items that aren't typically breakfast foods, so like a sandwich or a wrap, or again, leftovers that you had last night, or a salad. Anything that you know that you like that isn't a common breakfast food, feel free to eat it. Like I said, you're just breaking the fast overnight. The next one is to read labels to look out for added sugars. So this kind of goes into the on-the-go breakfast idea. So a lot of granola bars and some ready-to-go cereals can contain a lot of added sugar in them. And like I said before, when you have a lot of added sugar, your blood sugar is going to spike really quickly and then it's going to dip down really quickly after that. You kind of want to stay within that happy medium like we said. Obviously your body's going to do a great job of regulating this for you, but any way you can help your body out on top of that is great. So including things like whole grains, which have fiber, are going to be really good for you instead of things with added sugar. And a tip and trick to look at when you're looking for items that don't have a lot of added sugar is to look at a food label. Do the first 4 ingredients contain the word sugar, fructose, or any word with the OSE ending on it? Then you should probably avoid it and choose something else. Also, be wary of fast food breakfast. Fast food breakfast can be high in calories. They can also be high in fat, especially saturated fat, which can be pretty bad to our heart health and can raise our cholesterol. And then it can also be high in sodium, which again isn't great for our heart health either. So just be mindful of what choices you make when you go to a fast food restaurant, if that's the way you go and get your breakfast, or simply limiting the number of times you go get fast food breakfast.
So like Katie was saying, fast food breakfast can be high in calories, high in fat, and high in sodium. So here I have some examples of typical fast food breakfast items. So for example, we have the sausage biscuit, which can range from 440 calories to 520 calories. And it can have 30 to 35 grams of fat, which is a substantial amount of fat for our breakfast, and probably has a lot of sodium, which can make us feel bloated, tired, fatigued. So if you're feeling fatigued in the day, you might want to look at your breakfast and see if that could be the culprit. So all of these fast food items range from anywhere between 300 and 530 calories and have a lot of fat and sodium. So not saying you can never have these things, maybe just being more aware of what's really in them, or maybe cutting down on the amount of them, or maybe choosing a healthier option when it comes to fast food.
So these are some of the items that you can get instead of the other fast food items that Catherine said. So they all range, and they're pretty low in calorie, and they're also lower in fat, and they're also pretty low in sodium. Most of them are less than 500 to 600 milligrams of sodium or less, which is good, especially for a meal. For a meal, we kind of want to aim around 700 or less. So, so it's really great that there's a lot of different options for us. I want to highlight the last one, which is the Subway egg and cheese sandwich. Subway is great because you can really customize your sandwich to wherever you would like. So you could choose things with egg whites in them. You could choose adding in a lot of vegetables into your sandwich, and you could also choose low-fat cheese as well. So the calorie amount that's on there can definitely change depending on what you add to it or take away from it. But hopefully you make good choices when it comes to customizing your own things, that you have a better sandwich. And if you include some of those vegetables, then you're already getting your vegetables in for the day, which is awesome.
Okay, so here we have some easy breakfast ideas that you can make at home. So the first one is a veggie omelet with whole wheat toast. So you really get your protein in, your fiber in, and you even get your veggies in. So it's really a complete breakfast. Another option is a whole wheat English muffin with low-fat cheese, a scrambled egg, and a slice of tomato. So this is more replacing your typical breakfast sandwich with healthier all-around options. Cheese tends to be higher in saturated fat, so the low-fat cheese gets rid of a lot of that. And it just gives us that breakfast sandwich feel if that's what you like to eat normally. Another option is to make a smoothie with fruit and low-fat yogurt. That can be pretty fast to make, especially if you set out all the ingredients beforehand. And the last one is a whole grain cereal with fruit and low-fat milk.
Here's some even more ideas. So we have oatmeal with low-fat milk, raisins, nuts, fruit, really depending on what you like to do with your oatmeal. For instance, I like my oatmeal with peanut butter and slices of banana on top, and Catherine might like hers a little bit differently. But oatmeal is one of those foods that you can really customize to your liking no matter what.
I like to put bananas and some fresh yogurt up top. So
yeah.
Really, you can make it your own.
Really you can. And oatmeal's pretty inexpensive and it can last you for a long time if you get the big canisters of it. Another option is a low-fat yogurt with a fresh piece of fruit off to the side or on top. And this is another really great thing too with yogurt. You could also sprinkle on nuts if you would like that as well and add a little bit of crunch or even granola. And then finally, a yogurt smoothie and breakfast bar. So if you find that a smoothie isn't enough for you to keep you going throughout the day and you feel a little bit hungry or later, you could choose a breakfast bar to pair with it to kind of give you a little bit more fiber to keep you more full for the rest of your day. And finally, we have a recipe for overnight oats, which I will be demonstrating shortly.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is our recipe for overnight oats. I love this recipe because it's so versatile and you can change it however you want to whatever you're feeling for the day. My favorites usually include cocoa powder and honey and banana, so that's what we're going to use today. But I'll let you know now that the base is almost always half a cup of oats and then a third of a cup to a half a cup of a liquid. So this case I'm going to use milk or veggie milk, but you could use soy milk if you're lactose intolerant, or almond milk or coconut milk, or really any type of milk if you really want to. So I'm going to start out here by using my oats and putting them in a to-go container. So again, this is a breakfast item that you can take on the go with you, and if you're not hungry right away, you can eat it later. And then I'm going to add in a third of a cup of milk. You want to make sure that you have enough liquid in here to really make sure that the oats can soak overnight. So this is a really great breakfast thing to do because you get to prepare it overnight and then the next morning it's ready for you when you're ready to go, which is awesome because I feel like sometimes we get so busy that we just don't have time to make a good breakfast. And then next I'm going to use some cocoa powder. I'm just going to take about a tablespoon or so and dump that in there. And then some honey to sweeten it up a little bit. Maybe it's really thick honey. There you go. Additionally, you could use agave nectar if you don't like honey, or maple syrup.
Or I like to use yogurt and to make a different consistency, so it's really what you want to make it. You can add chia seeds or flax seeds if you like those things, or nuts, berries, and other kinds of fruit. We brought in some sliced bananas today because that's what we like on our oatmeal, but you can really do any fruit or nut that you like.
Additionally, you could also add a nut butter or a nut spread. So you could add peanut butter, almond butter, sun butter, just depending on what you like. So I'm going to sprinkle these bananas on top, kind of make it look a little pretty. Ooh. Put that over there. And so this is what it looks like when it's all done. So then you're going to put this in your fridge and you're going to leave it there overnight. Important to know is that if you go into eating overnight oats with the mindset that it's oatmeal, you're setting yourself up for a loss. Just keep in mind that this is like a cold item. You can microwave it if you'd like to, but it's a cold item and it's usually a lot thicker than oatmeal, and I don't know, I really like the taste of it. So yeah. Just a really quick and easy breakfast for you if you really like breakfast foods or just want something new and different to take with you on the go.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, hope you learned a little bit more about breakfast and why it's important and how you could get more of it into your diet.